historic NFL Prime Time. Jimmy welcomes the boys over to his new house, but will old friend Dan Marino be there to greet them? John Elway leads his Broncos against the familiar foe with first place on the line.
There is something indescribable about football in the 90s. I don't even remember watching any games when they originally aired. The earliest I can remember is the 2000 Independence Bowl between Texas A&M and Mississippi State. Back then, it was just on TV. But now, looking back, there is a certain warm and comforting feeling I get as I watch those old games recorded on VHS. Maybe it's just general nostalgia. Maybe it's the classic helmets, logos, and general design aesthetics of the era. Maybe it's the vaporwave obsession with the interjecting commercials and the way companies used to appeal to the average viewer. It seems innocent and simpler. Maybe it's Chris Berman's voice booming out of the Bristol studios on NFL Primetime, or Chris Fowler and Lee Corso on College Game Day sitting in front of those old, supersized CRT televisions. The graphics and music of ESPN, ABC, and other sports networks. Watching those old broadcasts is like sitting in a time machine. I can almost feel the cold room I'm in back in 1998. The sound from the TV echoes off the walls. It's all a dream. This is why I'm making a football game. Yes, EA is standing upon the rubble of the sports gaming genre. But I don't want to play a game like Madden, or even 2K, Game Day, and all the other games that died. Those were fun, but I want something different. I don't want the conventional football game of the last 20 years. I don't want a Madden clone. I want something deep, something explorable, something replayable, something unpredictable, something strategic, and something with an aesthetic, a setting. Enter Gridiron Masters 98, a football RPG set in the 90s. You play as a coach, build your skills and abilities, then discover your own story, starting in high school and then moving on to college and pro, if you play your cards right. This means that you don't control the players. Why would you? Your character in the world is the coach, not the players on the field. It's a game that will focus on story, strategy, and sports nostalgia. I want this game to feel more like an adventure than a sports simulator. I don't want to be bogged down in tedious chores. I want to be warped into a world permanently set in the 90s sports aesthetic. I want to make hard decisions over scarce resources. I want to be surprised and disappointed. I want to believe in the game world. This game will have sports shows in the vein of NFL Primetime and SportsCenter to update you on all the headlines, scores, and controversies. It will be complete with little commercials for fictional brands and products. The goal of the game is to recreate the feeling of watching a 90s sports broadcast, complete with all the sights, sounds, and overall presentation. The goal is to have an adventure in a 90s sports world, to have a dream in the 90s. Visually, this game was supposed to be 2D, but recently I've considered using 2D assets in a 3D world, similar to games like Quarterback Club 97, NCAA 98, and NBA Live 96. the logic wouldn't be any different than in a 2D field because the players are just billboards representing coordinates on a 2D plane. Graphically, if I decide on a 3D field, the game would be what you might call PS 1.5. I've been developing this game for over a year, and unfortunately, I've had to switch game engines recently. I made an early mistake of using a new and more obscure engine that still has more bugs than I'd like. I still have all my logic, and it has given me the chance to clean up the project overall, so not a lateral move in the end. I already wrote most of the basics like character generators, fast sims, some AI team management, a mailbox system, playoffs, and just a lot of technical stuff. This game may seem ambitious, and it is in a way, but I think it seems more complex than it actually is. I already know version 1 will not be the perfect vision of this game. It might only be 10 or 20%. But I have to start somewhere, and there is no scenario where I don't finish version 1 as long as I am breathing.